What is going on 137 p.m.? Today is Thursday, February 10th, 2022. It is 12:15 here in San Diego, California, and I am thrilled to be joined with our very own crew here at 137 p.m. I don't know, it's not necessarily the Geek Squad or, the Nerd Squad per se.
We'll take that.
But we'll take it, right?
It kind of is.
Yeah.
A little bit today. We got Elton Jones, Elizabeth Pagano, Conor Sheeran, and myself, Bo Templin, and we are going to be discussing all things Batman. We are less than 25 days away from the March 4th release of the new The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson and many others. I am wildly excited. I want to start today's podcast with this. And unfortunately, Connor, I'm going to put you on the spot to go first.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Okay.
Elizabeth, you'll go second. Elton, you're going to go third, and then I'll go fourth here. Connor, give me your Batman impression. I want one line.
God, no.
I want a Batman voice. I want it. Okay, we're going to start. Get the nerves out, guys. Be goofy. Be silly. Give us your Batman voice and a Batman quote.
The one I always go with is from Batman Begins. When I need to do the voice, I always do the "Where were the other drugs going?"
Ooh,
That's so good.
All right, Connor.
That's so good.
I never knew. I swear to God, swear to me. That one I always get. Also because what was it? College Humor did that parody video a couple of years ago where he's trying out the different voices, and he's he never gets to that. The only reason he uses that voice because he loses it. Amazing video.
Pete Holmes does a great yes.
Yeah.
Very, very funny. Honestly,
Very funny.
some of the better comedic Batman content, which there's been a bit of, but that's particularly good. Elizabeth, you're up. Give us your Batman voice.
Let's go. I'm ready for this.
I don't know any good quotes, but I feel like he definitely says "I'm Batman" at one point. Okay.
Of course. So do it.
Okay. I'm Batman. No, that was like a whisper.
A sensual whisper.
I can't get there.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
All
All right. You need a few more cigarettes, and then maybe you'll be ready
Yeah.
to work on this right here.
Inhales.
Drink some Granite or something.
Yeah.
Water Reds.
Yeah.
Elton, you're up, bud.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
That was a very good Kevin
good.
Conroy.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, there we go.
That was good, yeah.
Been practicing all week, man.
Get deep in the chest.
Yeah. Put some hair on there a little bit, you know what I mean?
Elton, we've been talking a bit on the 7:31 a.m. podcast about how important those three lines are to the history of Batman. It's probably the most famous Batman cartoon episode, season 1, episode 10. Fear Nothing, I think, is the name.
It made
of the
Scarecrow just one of the goats out of his rogues gallery. It put him on another level.
1010%. And then, he says that line, I am vengeance, which we saw in the trailer when the Batman trailer was first dropped in October of 2019, I want to say.
How long ago?
I think it was
October of
August.
2022.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
very exciting stuff. I'll give you guys my Batman voice.
Hear it.
Yeah.
I do want to shout out a homie of mine, Matt Loberg. Did the best Batman impression that I've probably ever heard. He did it throughout all of college. He's a huge Batman fan, and I watched a lot of it, so I did want to show him a little bit of love. But I don't know if anyone's ever done it better than him when he said, "This isn't a car."
That was
a good one too. Yeah. That one is just I feel like that's the easiest one.
Guttural too,
Yeah,
man.
that's all you gotta do. Just make it super raspy and guttural, and there you go.
Bo, I feel like you can do the line from Justice League good too. When he said, "I'm rich," when the Flash asked him his superhero power.
Yeah. So what are your superpowers again? I'm rich.
There we go.
All right, guys. So I just wanted to do that first. I thought it'd be a little bit of fun to start that way. We will go around. We have about 6 to 7 different topics we're going to go through, kind of list some of our favorite dynamics of the Batman story. And then at the very end, I think we can get into expectations for the new one. How's that sound, guys?
Perfect.
Love it.
I think the answer is easy, but I do want to go around and maybe give your reasoning as to why this movie is your favorite Batman movie. right? Like I expect the answers to be somewhat similar here, but the reasoning why is probably the important part of this discussion. Connor, what is your favorite Batman movie and why?
I mean, it's not even my favorite Batman movie. It's my favorite superhero movie of all time. It's The Dark Knight. Because it's like, I mean, it's been discussed ad nauseum, I feel like, at this point, of why it's the best superhero movie ever made and why it's one of Christopher Nolan's best movies. Because it's at its heart, it's Batman. It's the Joker. It's, how far is Batman willing to go to stop this psychopath from destroying the city and stuff. And we are so used to traditional almost superhero versus villain type stories and the like dilemma that Batman has to face the entire time when he's fighting the Joker. I mean, it's not exactly something like new, but it certainly just like brings us all to a certain point. I don't know if we were all expecting going into it. Not to mention that, the whole Two-Face dynamic that gets brought to the table as well. And then it's balanced out by, Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger's turn is best Joker ever. I'm saying yes. Some people might disagree. I'm saying yes. But, I mean, yeah, like I said, what else is there what else do you need to say about The Dark Knight?
It's been said, again, ad nauseum, as you kind of said there, right? Everyone's talked about how great The Dark Knight is, and it is amazing. But I think that reasoning why is different for everyone, because you said something that I will get to at the end of this, but just interesting. I'm fascinated as to why that's your favorite Batman. Elizabeth, favorite Batman movie and why?
Also, The Dark Knight, for sure. I love that movie. I hadn't seen Batman Begins when I first saw that movie. So that was kind of my first foray into the Batman world, I guess. Because I hadn't seen any of the prior films from the 80s or any of that stuff. And totally captivated by Heath Ledger's Joker. That's the main reason. At first, I didn't really like Christian Bale, but he grew on me after seeing the other movies. But definitely all of the insane scenes with the Joker where he's in a hospital, he's always dressed up as some bizarre person, or he kills the whole thing.
Which I do want to, I'm going to get to here in a little bit, but one of the things that's kind of cool about Heath Ledger's Joker is just, obviously he's dark and he's scary, and he crushes it on that psychological thriller dynamic. But there's a lot to him in the movie that is comic book or cartoon accurate as well. Like seeing Joker dress up as a nurse, seeing Joker dress up as one of his own henchmen, right? Mm-hmm. That's super apropos to what we saw in the Batman cartoons. They start the movie with that bank robbery, the bank heist scene. That is straight out of a Batman cartoon.
Right.
You start with the villain and his, mastermind plan and how he does what he does. And then Batman hears about it. Batman solves the case at the end of it. But really, for the most part, it's super true to the cartoons. Elton, give it to me. Favorite Batman movie and why?
I love The Dark Knight too. Every time it comes on TNT at 2 a.m, I watch the full thing front to back. But I have a very special connection to the 1989 original movie because my parents told me as a child, I was born in 88. So by the time I was 1, they took me to the theater because they couldn't find a babysitter to watch over me that night. They said, we're going to go see Batman 1989. They said I didn't cry through the whole film. So that solidified my love for that film and my connection to it. When I finally watched it, when I was old enough to watch it, I loved every part of it. The Prince soundtrack is amazing. Yep. If you go to Six Flags and go on the original Batman roller coaster ride, the Prince soundtrack is still playing while you're on the line, which is amazing. The Batmobile is dope. The whole reveal that Joker killed Batman's parents is pretty dope. The final fight scene in the bell tower and the church tower, just and Michael Keaton plays an amazing Bruce. Just very quirky and just trying to break out of his shell. The good with that newspaper reporter. And just, who's the guy that played, I forgot his name. He was in the Star Wars films. He was supposed to be Two-Face at one point, but I guess he bowed out of the sequel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Lando. I forget his real name.
Oh,
yes.
Billy D. Williams.
Yes. I just kept looking at Billy D. Williams in that first movie how can they turn him into Two-Face?
I forgot he played Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Sadly, we'll never know, but hey, the first Batman 1989 movie is just a special place in my heart, Bo.
Got to show a lot of love to Tim Burton on that one. I'm not necessarily the biggest Tim Burton fan in the world. I'm not obsessed with his work. It's very artistically definitive, right? You see it. It's oh my God, Tim Burton.
This is Tim.
Tim Burton. It's a Tim Burton movie.
within 5 seconds. One thing that Tim Burton does particularly well is the sets, right? He doesn't go to Chicago. He doesn't go to New York and just film on the streets. He made his own Gotham. And I just like, from a creative standpoint, bravo for that kind of work, because it's really, really cool what he did with the sets and how he kind of created his own Gotham.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Dark Knight. But Batman Begins deserves a lot of love here. Doesn't always get the credit I think it deserves. And I think while The Dark Knight is amazing and it is, cartoon accurate, I like from an origin story or Batman story dynamic, like the Dark Knight is really a Joker movie, mixed in with a lot of Batman.
Right.
Batman Begins is a true Batman origin story, and I really like it for that reason. But The Dark Knight is just so damn good. There's really no other way to put it.
The Dark Knight made people appreciate Batman Begins way more, because I skipped the first one because I just was like burnt out, I guess, on Batman at that point. After Dark Knight, I'm like, I have to go back and watch Batman Begins, and I think everyone did that at some point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The
Batman
Knight
was like Spider-Man at that point, where it's like everyone literally knows how he became the superhero.
Exactly.
Parents got killed. I don't need to see it again. So it's like, and then such a decent chunk of Batman Begins is dedicated to him, like flashing back to his dad more specifically.
Right.
Like it's like, we get it. We know what happened. Like, let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the Ra's al Ghul thing came. I was like, oh, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in the Dark Knight, I think they do a few different things. It's all about like updating the Batman story, right? Like for the first time, he's able to move his neck, which we'll get into, I'm sure. With the Batman
just
costume.
like this in the first movie.
It's all about the upgrades, right? Like, okay, well, this doesn't make sense anymore to a Batman story. And they make all those adjustments, whether it's like what the Joker's capable of doing, like bomb threats, or, oh my God, like I need to be lighter, I'm getting stabbed, or it's like dogs this time. I like the upgrade dynamic, because it's not just about the movie. It's like, how does Batman upgrade with society now in 2008 or whatever it is, right? So, for the first part, it felt refreshing, and that was great about it. I think we could probably go into costumes here, right? The bat suit is a very...
I badgered Elizabeth's DMs in Slack. She was like, all right, I got it.
I love
20
those.
suits.
I'm very excited for this new one. This new Batman suit looks really, really good. And the way they designed this bat symbol on the chest with what appears to be like gun parts, I mean, just sign me the hell up. Like, come on. Like, that's just too damn good. Elton, I don't think there's a better person to start off this conversation. What's the best bat suit?
For me, it's probably gonna have to be the he had the Sinestro Corp bat suit. I forget. I think Sinestro got them somehow, and he got like a fear ring on him. It's black, but just the yellow, just the sequence on it looks so just intimidating, dude. Just yellow and black for some reason just goes together so well. And especially shout out to the BVS Batman suit, because I remember that first screenshot came out. It was like in black and white, and he's like looking down by the Batmobile. People were kind of like, I don't know, why is he so bulky and like thick, like just. But after you see him in action, you're like, okay, I come to appreciate it more, because they're stabbing him. The knife is just like clinking off of him like it's nothing. He's just swole. Swole Batman is one of my favorite Batman. So Dark Knight Returns style, I love those two suits. It made him look just super intimidating.
Elizabeth, are there any suits that stand out to you?
Definitely. By far, my favorite is the Batman Begins ski mask. I love.
Yes.
I forgot about that one.
Yes.
I love a good DIY. He's got the ski mask. He's got the belts, and then he spray painted black. It's kind of like he went on Pinterest and was like, okay, let's figure out what I can do to make a bat suit. It's very DIY. Literally,
pop down a couple thrift stores in the village and just like, now I'm gonna paint these all in black. We're gonna be good to go.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm so glad you said it. I was gonna get to it, so it's another good shout out. And in the Spider-Man podcast that we had done, you mentioned the Spider-Man do-it-yourself costume. That
I love those bare bones ones. Those are the best.
You're a sucker, Connor. You're up.
I got to continue with my love of the Dark Knight. I love that he's like, yeah, can I get something to help me move my neck? And then him talking to Morgan Freeman about like, the separation of the plate stuff. It's like makes you more vulnerable to knives and gunfire. And he's like, how does it do against dogs? He's like, talking about koalas or anything. Like, he's like, I just like, it makes it feel more kind of like like what you were saying, Elton. It's like the reverse of like the bulkiness.
Right.
But I like that free flowing type fight where he's like, I can take on 30 dudes at once because I'm not like, I can literally move my whole body. And I have like, not to mention the like 3 blade things he has on like the wrists
Those are
that he
so
can
cool.
like fire off, and that's how he like flips the Joker over at the end, like because when the Joker just goes like I got these scars, and he's like, no, but I know how you got these, and he fires them all right into him.
The theater was like there's a flow, random flow that happened.
It's
Yeah,
so good, it's so good. I remember I think The Dark Knight was like the first time I'd ever gone to like a midnight release of a movie.
Ooh.
And I remember it was like, I mean, The Dark Knight's like what, like 2.5 hours almost. And by that point, it was probably close to like 3 a.m. And everyone is just like, let's go. Like, cheering as the Joker falls off the building. And it's like just so many fond memories of the Dark Knight suit. And I mean, I guess the Dark Knight Rises suit. I don't know if there's much of a difference between the two, but yeah, that one for sure.
I think the only adjustment from the Dark Knight to the Dark Knight Rises are the prosthetics then he starts to use for his legs, right?
Right.
He puts on, because he's suffering from these injuries. So I think he puts like a little more infrastructure into the suit itself. Yeah, the do-it-yourself, the ski mask one is really high on the list for me.
Yes.
And like, I don't think we need to cuss on here a ton, but
drop an F-bomb, Bo. Drop it.
He's not wearing a cape. And he jumps from building to building and kind of just says, fuck it.
You're right.
I mean,
he just sends it. He just sends it. Like
my knees will take the impact of the brunt. I'll brunt the impact. I'll be okay. Like, hey, bats.
Like the magic knee brace that he should like dish that to every football player on the planet. Just like a magic cure all for his knee. Like
everyone over 6'5" needs that pretty much.
Yeah.
And then he kicks a brick wall and breaks it down. It's like, oh yeah, it's feeling really good. Like the knee's feeling great now.
Lucius Fox, man, the greatest inventor in comics, man.
Oh my God, so good. Yeah, shout out to Lucius, man. So good. I think this is probably going to be my favorite conversation that we have here. And I think it's an important dynamic to the Batman lore. And I am wildly excited about the future of this conversation in Batman, because from what we've seen in the trailer, it looks next level. But if you're Batman, you got to be able to whoop some ass, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the sequences of taking on 1 versus 10 is as much part of the Batman story as the bat suit, as the Batmobile. Batman's got to be able to whoop some ass. What's your favorite Batman, fight scene? Elizabeth, what's the best one that comes to your mind?
While I do like the Batman Begins train scene, at the end, I have to say the one that sticks out to me most is what Connor was bringing up before at the end of The Dark Knight, where Batman comes up and he's looking for the Joker, and then he throws him off the edge, which is an insane moment. Definitely, that's my favorite.
Word. Elton, what do you got for me?
When I went to go see BVS opening night, you could hear crickets. Then the warehouse scene happened, and we all came alive. The way he just mercilessly just destroyed those terrorists in that warehouse was just like, where was this the last 2.5 hours earlier? Just beat the ever-loving shit out of those guys. The way he didn't one guy get his neck broken by the bat string, like he pulled him and then threw a crate at another guy?
It was like brutal. Like Ben Affleck's Batman killed a lot of people.
His
Batmobile is like the machine guns, like the cannons. He's like blowing up trucks and stuff. Like he is like Joker gets killed, like now Robin gets killed, and he just goes, "I'm just gonna murder
batshit insane,
everyone.
literally.
I'm done. Like I'm killing everyone."
Yeah, dude. I watch that scene once a month just to remind myself that Zack Snyder had something here. Like that was a crazy scene. And then the flamethrower pop out where like the guy's aiming at the door, and I'm like, you're gonna get fucked. The Batman's gonna appear at the side. Lo and behold. Jeez, man.
Surprise.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just Bruce Affleck, listen, bro. I know the internet roasted you for like years, but you did your thing. Shout out to you for that.
That flamethrower moment, right? When you kind of can sense that Batman's behind the wall, right? so Batman Arkham Origins or Batman Arkham vibe, where like, you know, you got the sonar, like eyesight detective mode. You can see through walls at times if they're thin walls, and it like the way the camera turns with that extra space next to the wall, as if like, yo, someone's supposed to be standing here. We just haven't revealed it yet. It's like, oh my God, Batman is about to fuck this guy up. So
Even
bad.
Martha knows, like, oh boy, wait, just wait.
There's another great moment, because I'm going to go ahead and say, you know, the warehouse scene is certainly my favorite Batman fight scene of all time. It's so good, Elton. You hit the nail on the head pretty much in every single point there. At one point, Batman takes one of the thugs' heads with one hand and smashes it into the ground as if he's straight up playing like Street Fighter. And I remember seeing that, I think, in the trailer. I'm like, oh shit, oh, this is gonna be different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those 20 years in Gotham took a toll on our old pal Bruce, and he's not the same anymore. Connor, what do you got for me?
So mine is kind of going off of BVS a little bit, but it's from one of the only comic books I've ever read in my life, which was The Dark Knight Returns. And this is partially me being a known Superman slanderer, I guess. He is the lamest superhero of all time in my mind. So in The Dark Knight Returns, when Batman goes to fight Superman and Batman beats him, and it's like, sure, in the comic book he has a little help from like Green Arrow, but whatever. You know, he beats up Superman. It's absurd. And then he says my favorite line of all time that's Batman's ever said. He goes, I want you to remember, Clark, in all the years to come, in your most private moments, I want you to remember my hand at your throat. I want you to remember the one man who beat you. And that's just like,
oh,
yes.
And the animated movie, it did it
Yes.
justice.
Like, it did, yeah. Because it was Kevin Conroy in the animated movie, right?
Yes, and just to hear that scene play with his Batman animated series voice,
Perfect. Yeah.
Perfection.
As far as favorite Batman go, like Kevin Conroy is, the dude's been doing it for how many years at this point.
Yeah.
Between the animated series, the video games, like all these adaptations, incredible. But yeah, absolutely. It's hard to like justify it, I guess, when you're reading it on a comic book, but that line alone just gets me every time. Like it's amazing.
Man.
So good.
It's some cold-blooded shit. And you're right. They do a really good job with that, I think, in the Batman versus Superman movie, right? Because I think the rooftop fight scene is really good between Batman and Superman. Like, for all the criticisms that the movie gets, I do like Batman versus Superman more than most people. I actually really enjoy the movie. Put it on last night just because I was doing some homework for this. But
my biggest problem with Batman Superman is that the movie is called Batman Superman, and they fight each other for like 8 minutes. It's like
I didn't even realize that.
It goes to like traditional kind of we got to fight the CGI monster thing that comes in at the end. If the climax of the movie was 45 minutes of them going at one another, and it ends with like Batman winning or something along those lines,
right?
I thought it would have been just unbelievably better. You could still introduce like Wonder Woman into it.
Yeah, she comes in between them like, guys, please stop.
Yes.
Then they'll be like, okay, that's cool.
All right, sweet. Here we go.
We're getting somewhere.
Batman only fights Superman for that 8-minute period.
Right.
But Bruce Wayne fights Clark Kent for a more extended period of time in this movie. So, you could argue for a while, they go to the LexCorp party, right? And they do the handshake. And like, while it's not Batman versus Superman, it is Bruce Wayne versus Clark Kent. I like seeing sometimes that stuff where like, I know that you know that I know, right? Like, I know who you are. I know you know who I am. And I like, the idea of like LexCorp maybe knowing more than what he puts on, or having a pretty good idea that these two are doing some shady shit in their free time. I think that's a good route to go, or let's see.
Perfect segue. What we got?
All right, let's do it. Let's break this up a little bit. I want your least favorite Batman moment across Batman storytelling, right? There's been so many renditions of the Caped Crusader or Gotham's Greatest Detective. With that many renditions, you're going to get a few that are not so good. Elton, I trust that you're going to have a couple here that are going to stand out to you, but I want to hear, what is your least favorite Batman moment?
So, I love Jim Lee. If it wasn't for Jim Lee's art, I would have never read All-Star Batman and Robin. One of the worst renditions of Batman known to man. He's saying, I'm the goddamn Batman. When has he ever given off that alpha male, like, frat boy vibe? You know what I mean? He captures Robin from, like, his parents. He makes him eat rats. He traps him in a basement. He beats him, like, abusive father. Come on now. And then he, like, tortures Green Lantern by painting the whole room yellow just to fuck with him. Like, this isn't Batman. But the worst scene in that comic is Black Canary and Batman beat up these thugs, right? They set them all on fire. I guess they get so horny, they have sex in the middle of burning bodies. It's just out here. Yeah, it's just like they just broke some necks and like punctured some dudes and burned them all. They're like, oh, this is it. We got to knock boots right now. And they're just 7 panels of just hot, steaming.
This is happening.
Yeah, just leather sex scene and just burning bodies yelping. It's just,
oh my God.
Jim Lee, shout out to you for that art, dude. If it wasn't for that art, I would have never touched that book. It's just terrible.
Well, based off what Warner Brothers told us last year, I thought Batman didn't perform.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't fornicate and do you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, you know, those kinds of activities based off what we heard last year. And funny enough, you say that, Elton, because I was watching Batman versus Harley Quinn last week.
Bro. It's
the horniest Batman shit I've ever seen in my life.
That week gets a hard on.
Years of like the obsession with doing that. Like,
yeah.
Like
even I went to Comic-Con and people were like questioning the creator of the producer of the Killing Joke movie. Mm-hmm. And they were like, why is Batman and Batgirl like, you know, doing stuff with each other? He couldn't even answer the question. Yeah, like they're literally having a relationship.
Like,
yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. Like,
and even the producers looked at the rest of the table. They were like, "No, bro, they asked you that question. You're the one that put that in. Like, don't look at us." He couldn't even answer the question because he knew he was stupid to add that into the movie.
I will. I'm gonna throw in my nomination here for my least favorite Batman moment. Dark Knight is a 99% perfect movie.
Oh, 1%. Oh boy.
There's a mistake in it. There's a mistake in the movie, and it makes 0 sense. Joker comes up to the fundraising party, right? Batman, Harvey Dent, Rachel Dawes all upstairs. You know, Joker's throwing Rachel over the ledge and, you know, let her go. Oh, very poor choice of words.
In the moment, right? Didn't even think about it, yeah.
They fall off the building and then just land on a cab.
Just lands on his back.
We never see the wings like get big. We never see them prepare for the landing. There's 0 reason why they survived this like 300-foot fall at all.
It makes higher than that. It feels like
maybe higher, maybe, and it bothers me every single time I watch this movie. I literally think they missed a cut from the movie showing Batman like spreading his wings to brace for the fall. It's a near perfect movie. That is one of the mistakes in the movie. Bothers me every time I watch it.
Can I bring up something that brings that movie to 98%?
Do it.
Two-Face not recognizing Joker with the mask on, but then he takes it off. You're like, huh? It's you.
No.
Like, dude.
Yeah, the mascara, the hair.
No. I will fight this argument every single time.
99% Bo still here. What's up, Bo?
Back to 99.
Now I need to hear this.
He just got half his face torched. He is on so much morphine. Half his face is toasted to a crisp. He doesn't even have an eye on this side. Like, he's not even alive. He's barely surviving. I would not be surprised if someone didn't recognize someone underneath a mask having a little bit of paint right here as they were turned around looking at files and folders. To us, the audience, it's obvious. To someone who just had half their body burnt to a crisp, I'm not so sure it's that obvious.
Mass hysteria messed him up. I get you.
Cut him a little slack.
Yeah.
Come on. His eyeball has no skin around it.
It's hanging out of his head. Like,
yeah.
I always fight that one, Elton. Elizabeth, do you have a least favorite Batman moment?
Definitely. This one was really easy to come up with because it's the 1989 Batman movie.
Oh, that hurts.
And I know. It is the insane dance scene that the Joker does. It is the weirdest scene I've ever because he's like dancing around, getting like they're in the museum and he's like just like graffitiing like all the sculptures and stuff while dancing to Prince, and it's it's just totally bizarre and very weird.
And you know what? And that's the Tim Burton effect, right? Where it's
Right.
like,
It
yo,
is.
it's gonna be Tim Burton, whether or not you like Tim Burton or you don't. It's gonna be Tim Burton, and I think that's a pretty good example.
And
Connor-
WB paid good money for that Prince soundtrack. Oh, we're getting in this
That's
movie.
true.
Oh yes, they did.
Point.
It's not just going in the credits; it's
It worked.
going in the movie.
3 songs, as a matter of fact.
That's so good. Connor, give me your least favorite Batman moment.
So I'm gonna again cheat a little bit. I'm just gonna say all of Batman in Joss Whedon's version of Justice League because he serves no purpose in that movie other than providing like some transportation. Like, and not only that, he gets like pushed around half the time. I feel like, and then the final battle, they're all fighting the monsters and stuff like that, and they put him on like a machine gun or something like that because they just needed something for him to do.
Right.
It's like all these other like superheroes are actually doing stuff. Then Superman comes in at the end of the day and just saves everyone. But it's just I don't know. Like I wanted so much more from Batman, and it turns out that in that movie he feels just like a glorified bus driver. We gotta get him to Russia. And we gotta get him to fight like the monsters and save the day. It's like, okay, well, I'll drive.
The Flash's Uber driver, yeah.
Yeah, like that's what it felt like.
His role as like team leader really got reduced down in that Justice League version from Joss Whedon.
I didn't love the Snyder cut version of it, but
It redeemed him.
it's so that, and it's also just like obviously so much better than the Joss Whedon version. And now with like all the controversy that came out of it too, it's just like if anyone watches that Joss Whedon version ever again, I could not for the life of me figure out why they would.
Connor, you just gave me a great idea.
Hit me.
The wheels are turning.
I don't know what the bet's gonna be yet, but the loser of the bet will have to will have to live stream on Instagram.
Oh boy,
themselves watching the Justice League version
The
of the
Justice
movie.
League. I like that. Hey.
We can't even call it the Justice League.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna bet yet. Like, I don't know. It will be like the last person of the 4 here to go see the movie in theaters. Whatever it is, I think we could have some fun here by making someone whoever comes in last place have to watch the movie and Instagram their reaction.
I have a light bulb
Oh
now, boy.
boy.
Yeah,
I think the bet should be everyone in here has to guess who the next villain will be in the post-credit scene, like the teaser. And then whoever gets it right, of course, and the other 3 probably,
Sure.
Let me ask you this: do you think, because I don't know, with the tone of like this one, it also feels like there might not be a post-credit scene. Does anyone else get that vibe?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
It feels like Matt Reeves doesn't strike me as that kind of guy that feels the need to like tee up something else. Also, this is setting up like a whole like mini kind of Batman universe, I guess, of itself. Like you're getting like the Penguin spin-off of it.
Oh,
and then,
GCPD show.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if they're still doing that, they're setting up this whole thing just off this movie. So maybe they tease something up, and maybe the rumors of a certain actor being in it that's teasing up this version of the Joker. Maybe that happens. I don't know, but I do like the idea of a bet though.
Maybe they don't do like a post-credit scene, right? But I think at some point in the movie, you could very easily mention a name or, drop a little hint that down the line, this might be someone like, oh, Bruce, you're going to want to meet Harvey. He's a good guy. You're going to want to meet him down. You could very easily
It's like
do
the end of
something like
Batman
that.
Begins.
Oh, the card scene. Yeah.
The card. And he's like, I'll look into it. That's exactly
Connor wins for
both.
for impersonation of the podcast so far.
That's exactly what it's probably going to be.
I can see it. Like, hey, Mr. Bruce, we have a guy named Mr. Hugo. Would you come in, please? Like, Hugo Strange? Oh, shit. They did it.
The end of Batman Begins make me feel things I didn't know I could feel for quite some time. The Joker card flip turn and the way Jim Gordon says, Hey, he's got a taste for the theatrics like you.
Oh my God.
Ultimate tease.
Oh, that's so good. So I guess this is good. Let's do this here, okay? Because one of the things I have is favorite villain, okay? So answer favorite villain in Batman, favorite rendition, why? But then I also want you to cast a future villain in the Batman series. It doesn't have to necessarily be the Batman, but just an actor that you would like to see play a villain down the road at some point for this Batman, story that we've been gifted. Elton, I want your favorite Batman villain, the favorite rendition, and then give me a casting for down the road of someone you'd like to see go up against our Gotham's greatest detective.
I love Bane because he's supposed to be this bumbling, broad, just super swole idiot, but he has the intellect of just just super intelligent, knows how to put like plans together to perfection, and they outsmarts Batman at every like corner, just like the storylines and whatnot. I just love him. Maybe Batista. I could see him playing because he's very like well spoken guy, and he can go for the like menacing, low key, quiet villain. You know what I mean? The body's there, but also I think he's an underrated actor. I loved him in was it Spectre?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved him as a villain in Spectre. I love to see him in a villain role again. Just cut the hair, put on the big bulky outfit, no horrible accent, and we're good to go.
Oh God, yeah.
I will say, when I'm thinking about my Bane, and I love Tom Hardy, I love Dark Knight Rises. This is not really anything against that, but like for me, Bane is Latin. He's South American.
Yeah.
I don't love that he's necessarily like Eastern European in The Dark Knight Rises. I could get behind more roots to like that side because it feels like we don't get a whole lot of like Latin villains or like Latin characters in these Batman stories. I think that'd be a really good way to introduce the character. So Bane, you want Batista, so that's
Who's
your
Filipino.
answer.
So
Word. And honestly, he's probably the right guy for the gig. Like it would be hard to find someone else. Connor, I want your favorite Batman villain, favorite rendition, why? But then give me a Connor casting for down the road.
yes.
I would love to see, and because it's been rumored, like not rumored so much, but like people want to see him do this. Willem Dafoe playing the Joker, I feel like
Oh my God,
would be so good. That dude, I don't know if guys have ever seen The Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson, Robert Eggers. That dude is just a maniac, and he's like, and I mean that like in a really like it sounds weird, but I mean that in a good way because in The Lighthouse he has like these just random tangents of like these incredibly deep and like evil like monologue type things. After we get off this, do yourself a favor, go up on YouTube, just search Willem Dafoe monologue in The Lighthouse when he's like screaming at Robert Pattinson. You'll understand kind of like why he really deserves to be the Joker. And I think now that they kind of have that dynamic already thanks to that movie, I think that him going up against Robert Pattinson's Batman, so much potential there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's like, every comic book or just movie fan's dream right now.
They want it so bad.
And I think Dafoe has said like, yo, I would love to do this at some point. It's something I'm super interested in. Dafoe's facial expressions are as good for that as probably anyone in like the history of Hollywood. I don't know if anyone's ever done facial expressions better than him. And, with the Joker, if you can't control that face, like it's going to be hard to do the role as well as the people of the past who have, whether it be Ledger or Nicholson. Elizabeth.
Just look at him in Spider-Man.
Oh, so
when he did in No Way Home, he was basically already the Joker.
And you got to take off the mask, right? You took off the Green Goblin mask, and it was still so damn good because he's so good with his facial expressions. He's able to control those facial muscles so well.
Getting beat up in the hallway. I mean, like that's something that the Joker would do if he was fighting Batman.
Come on, Brucey Bruce.
Like just keep punching me in the face and just smiling. Like that's something that would happen in a Batman movie.
Elizabeth, you're up.
Okay, this is kind of a weirder take, I feel like, but I don't know why it's in my head. See, if there would be like kind of a funnier Batman movie in the future, I would want to see like somebody like Jonah Hill playing the Penguin or something. I don't know why. I feel like that would be hilarious. I feel like he would kill it. I want a funny Batman movie, definitely.
I've literally never thought about that, and I think that's an outstanding casting. I think that's so good. I love that. Elton, what do you think?
That could hit maybe like Selma Hayek as Catwoman, just because I want to see it in the cat suit. I'm disgusting, guys. I know.
Why not? If you need a funny Batman type thing, 'cause even though it's not focused on him, just watch Harley Quinn on HBO Max.
I know. I have to start
King
watching
Everything
Shark.
about that. King Shark, Ron Funches. I will go on and I'll speak for him all day. I'll do a whole Ron Funches' King Shark podcast if you want me to. Like, and who was it? Like, I forget who does the voice of Batman in that show, but
Total dude, bro, Batman too.
yeah, he's great. It's perfect. It's like that's the funny Batman I think you're gonna get.
Amazing.
I truly think the Joker might be the greatest villain probably in like the history of storytelling. It's like so Shakespearean, right? Like this is something you could throw in like a 1600s, William Shakespeare story. This guy who tells like funny jokes against a guy who's taking himself too seriously. Like he doesn't feel things for the average person, but also in The Dark Knight, there's plenty of theories that, the Joker is the hero of this story. He's trying to cleanse Gotham of needing a vigilante to fix their problems, right? Like if you want to be a prosperous city, you can't have this guy flying around at night just doing whatever he wants, beating people up. The Joker looks at that as a problem and says, "Oh, I want to fix that. I want to make this place better." There's some wiggle room there to where like, the Joker does some fucked up shit all the time, but also like, I kind of see what he's doing a little bit there, which is always great.
The meeting with the thugs.
Yeah.
Like you guys used to be scared and used to be feared. Like, oh, he talking that shit, man. Yeah.
I think there's the whole interrogation scene, which is probably my favorite scene in the movie.
That's an incredible
like
scene.
Him and Batman, like, don't talk like them. You're not like them. Like, and it's exactly right. And it's like they're gonna get something similar to that. It looks like in the new one, where Batman looks like he's in like an interrogation scene with the Riddler, and then also one where it looks like he's getting like attacked by like 20 cops or something. Like this is just judging from the trailer. So we're gonna get something similar to that. Whether or not Paul Dano is like, who looks like he's gonna absolutely knock it out of the park as the Riddler, but this is they picked like a perfect villain to start this Robert Pattinson series off with as the Riddler if he's going like full detective type thing.
Completely agree. Completely agree. One rumor I really, really like right now is McConaughey for Two-Face, for Harvey Dent, right? Wow. Like you could totally see McConaughey in a courtroom. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just like holding it down, taking down villains left and right. But then something happens, right? And now he's going to go a little cuckoo. I just am really behind that idea. McConaughey as Harvey Dent turns villainous. Like, we've never really seen McConaughey do that, like, side villain character, right? He's always like, it's the rom-com, it's McConaughey. Oh, it's this action interstellar movie, it's McConaughey. This would be a great opportunity, I think, for him to, like, step outside of that and, like, really challenge himself as an actor and play that villain who also has that like integrity and like wants to do things at times. So certainly a rumor that I'm very interested in. Elton, what do you think about McConaughey as Two-Face?
That would work. And I want to see Liam Neeson come back as someone, but I don't know who though. Like we already have Alfred's role picked out already. So I'm like, who could we? I don't know.
Hugo Strange is a character that's going to be big. I don't know when they do the Hugo Strange story or how they do it, but it will be an interesting casting when that does happen. I've got 2 more on here that we want to get to. I got all right, let's do it. Favorite Batmobile. Can be nice, quick, easy, short. Elizabeth, do you have a favorite Batmobile?
Definitely. I don't know how you call it, but it's the Bat Cycle. I don't know how they.
Oh, great!
Yes.
The motorcycle. It is insane. The twisting wheel that's turning at like a moment's notice. It is insane. Definitely my favorite.
Why are your answers so good? Like, I just love your answers so much. Connor, favorite Batmobile?
I think it's got to be Michael Keaton's Batmobile rather. I think it's so like the vibe of it just feels very, this is what a superhero would drive. Like the Dark Knight and like the Nolan Christian Bale ones. It's like that's a tank. It's like that's the Batmobile, but that's like a tank. Like same thing with Ben Affleck's version as well. Like something about like just that Michael Keaton, just like kind of like long stretch, stretch thing just looks great to me.
Seems a little impractical. While I do like the aesthetic
Very
of it,
much so.
I can't imagine turning in the Michael Keaton Batmobile is very, very
Be a
easy.
Be a little tough.
And it appears that we're going to be getting the return of it here rather soon.
Yep.
In the new Flashpoint movie, it looks like we're getting the return of Michael Keaton's Batmobile. Elton, are you good to go over there?
I apologize for my crime alley lighting. Sorry about that, guys. But I'll give you my favorite Batmobile. The red and black one from the 60s TV series. Like, I could totally see that at, like, parked in front of a strip club parking lot, just West 46th Street. Like, whoa, who's driving in that? Like, that.
Theater district.
Yeah, like, that thing is gorgeous, man. Like, there's a Batman arcade game where you're pretty much in the Batmobile, but there's, like, different Batmobiles. I always pick that one. That thing is just, pure beauty.
So as we wrap up the podcast here, we got two more things to hit on. One is just gonna be your favorite Batman moment, right? It can be anything, literally just up to you. Whatever moment you want to choose, it is your call. It could be funny, it could be serious, it could be scary, whatever it is. You'll have your favorite Batman moment, and then we'll wrap the show with expectations or just something you want to see in the new one. Because I don't know if I've really been this excited for a movie in a really long time. Like, I don't know if I've been this excited for a movie since Endgame for me. Listen, I'm a Batman sucker. I saw The Dark Knight Rises 4 times in theater. I've seen The Dark Knight once a month for the last decade. Okay? I see that movie 12 times a year. So I don't know if I've really been this excited in a really long time. But we'll start with favorite Batman moment. Elton, you're the man for it. Give me your favorite Batman moment.
So I got into comics around the New 52, which is weird because everyone hates the New 52. But the Batman run is really strong, and there's like a really warm moment. I forget which comic it is, but it's Bruce, it's Damian, it's the guy that plays Red Robin, Nightwing, and Batgirl, all at a Christmas like dinner function. They're all in their suits, and they're all in one room together just having a conversation. I'm like, oh, look at this wholesome Bat family moment. They're not breaking anybody's necks or asking, where is she? They're just like, we're going to have some dinner. We're going to talk to some bigwigs. We're going to get some donations, and we're going to have a good time. And Alfred is looking through the room like, oh, look at them, my proud children. And Bruce smiling for once. Just to see him out of his element, being happy, is just a warm panel moment. From the New 52, one of the few good moments from the New 52. Shout out to whoever put the whole panel together. It's wonderful.
Connor, what's your favorite Batman moment?
If we're talking strictly the movies, I got to go with the end of Batman Begins when he's in the subway car and he's fighting Ra's al Ghul. And, he's talking about, he like flips the script on him with the mind your surroundings line. And he has the battering like right in his face, which honestly doesn't serve much of a purpose, but it just looks cool.
That's all that matters.
The battering from like a foot away doesn't really probably do much, but it looks cool. And then Liam Neeson like says to him, you don't have like the courage to do what is necessary, basically meaning like kill him. And he's like, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you either. And then he just flies out. Like, so good. Like that's one of my favorite lines from like really any superhero movie. Like, it's just perfect. And he just flies back out. So good.
It's a defining moment for the character throughout the remainder of the trilogy. So, I think Batman Begins is all about, the origin story. You could argue that is the origin moment, right, of the Dark Knight trilogy, is when he says, I don't have to say, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. That's the defining moment because it sets up almost every other problem or issue that Batman faces throughout the course of the next 2 movies is the fact that, I don't kill people, right? Like,
right.
And making those rules, setting those lines. Elizabeth, favorite Batman moment?
I have a soft spot in my heart for Alfred. And I believe this is at the end of The Dark Knight Rises where he's like, I always envisioned myself like going to a cafe and then seeing you, and then he finally like kind of sees him at the end, and I just thought
the
it was
head
a really
nod.
yeah, I thought that was a cute moment.
Like just the
Yeah.
like
It's a very, very good moment. I'm gonna go Batman Begins. And the first time he says, I'm Batman. They're at the shipments. You got 10 villains. You got Carmine Falcone. And this is as hardcore Batman as it gets, right? A thug, like a group of thugs, the lead crime boss doing drug-related shit. Like, this is pure Batman.
Quintessential Batman.
yeah.
This is so important to the movie. Batman takes down the entire 10, right? And it's just like flashes. Like, you don't even see that the Batman's there. It's just like a cape fly through. You just see a punch land. But you never see the Batman, like, standing in the middle of all of them. It's always just those quick flashes, those quick moments. And then for him to land on top of the car, you know, and Carmine Falcone goes, who the hell are you? Smash through the top, pull him up. I'm Batman. Like, that moment, you know, I'll mention this. My first Mac laptop I bought from my neighbor. It was used. He had one movie saved on there, and it was Batman Begins. So on my first ever Mac laptop was Batman Begins. I could watch it over and over and over. I did watch it over and over and over. So, you know, till I die, I will remember Batman Begins. I'll think of it very, very fondly.
Also, I gotta give a special shout out to Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow throughout all those movies.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's just because I'm also a giant Peaky Blinders fan, so Cillian Murphy is just like that's my guy. So he's really good. Scarecrow is just an awesome villain in general, and I think he does it amazingly throughout all those movies.
Yeah, man. I really wanted to see like Poison Ivy in Christopher Nolan's movies because just the eco-terrorist thing, just to see them modernize it would have been so dope, man.
Yeah, my favorite thing with Poison Ivy now is like everyone's like slowly starting to like say she's not really like a villain,
Right.
She's just like trying to like save the world from like climate change, and it's like sure she like like does some villainous shit to do it, but like she's literally just trying to like stop
She has a
climate change.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, literally, like she's got a point here.
It depends on the rendition of Poison Ivy.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah,
There are Poison Ivies who are trying to turn the entire world into plants. So, you know, I think, you know, drawing that line is important to do. Guys, just expectations. What are your excitement level for this new one? Like, it's been postponed. This is a movie we've wanted to see for a long time. We've had so many blockbusters over the last 365 days because all the big studios were afraid to release movies during the pandemic, but now we've gotten them all. This is a really big defining moment, I think, for Warner Brothers, right? Like, competing against Marvel is not easy right now, and I don't even know if they are competing against Marvel, but where they separate themselves is the fact that they get to tell different stories. You could do whatever you want. You can have an R-rated Joker. You could have a detective trilogy with Batman. You can have funny The Suicide Squads with James Gunn. You can have Justice Leagues redone during COVID and release that onto HBO Max. Like, the creativity and options that Warner Brothers has is very different. Excitement level, expectations, where are they? Elizabeth, go first.
Okay, I'm pumped for Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. Mostly I love Zoe Kravitz, but also I feel like I just did not like Anne Hathaway in that role. I love Anne Hathaway, big Princess Diaries fan, big Devil Wears Prada fan. But she wasn't at the level that I wanted her to be for that movie. So I feel like Zoe Kravitz is the perfect person to take this one on. So I'm super pumped to see that.
Elton, expectations, excitement level. Talk to me. You know, tickets went on sale today. How dialed in are we?
I'm probably going to go to the local neighborhood theater with the stickiest floors in all of Queens and just the loudest, most responsive fans in every borough in the city. So I'm going to get my tickets tonight and probably be super excited just to see Alfred. I am a big Alfred connoisseur. I'm always researching who's going to play it. Andy Serkis as Alfred. I'm really intrigued to see where this goes because obviously Batman's going to come to him like, bro, you lied to me about something. Like, is it going to be about his parents and their influence on Gotham City and the sinister shit they were into? Like, And just seeing Andy Serkis's like facial expressions and being sad and how he's gonna explain to him like, yeah, your dad did some really messed up shit. I can't wait for that scene where he's like, all right, Bruce, sit down. This is what your family was really up to. This is what's really going into your, your funds and your military weapons. And I just can't wait to see Andy Serkis break down everything to him in that one scene.
If this is a detective movie, which is what we're being told, this is the expectation, is that this is a detective movie. You best believe that Alfred's going to be solving some of these problems. Like when Batman comes back to the Batcave, he goes, Alfred, I got a new riddle from the Riddler, and he delivers it. It's going to be Alfred who solves one of those riddles. Like, he's going to be a very important figure in this movie.
Yes.
Connor, what are the expectations? What's the excitement level?
Mike, so I mean, ever since that first teaser dropped, 2 years ago almost at this point, it was like, summer of like 2020, I feel like, which is still blows my mind that they were able to release like a 2-minute teaser because they had only filmed for like a month or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. They managed to put something together, and one of the all-time like teaser trailers that I've ever seen.
A million views in like 2 hours.
Yeah. So even if the movie comes out and it stinks, we'll always have that trailer, because it's so good.
That's me with Justice League.
With the with the Nirvana, like it's just an all-timer. And I think the movie is going to be fantastic. And I watched a video last night. I forget who does them, but it's like a video series where actors kind of like walk through their most famous roles. And Robert Pattinson just put one out, and he talked for like 5 or 6 minutes about the Batman and just how much he wanted to play the Batman before he got cast, and like him being nervous about like, and how his like audition was in like when he wore
the old bat suit
and stuff. Yeah, he wore the George Clooney suit.
Oh, the bat nipples.
Yeah. So they're talking about it, laughing about it, and he's like, that suit is just so restricting. So he's like, I'm boiling hot, and I'm like turning like this to do like all my lines, and it was like ridiculous. But knowing how much he wants to play the character now and how much like dedication went into it, I think it's just going to come through. And Robert Pattinson, he's one of those guys that got shit on because of the Twilight movies, and Kristen Stewart too. And
Same with her. Yeah.
And now she's like basically the front runner for Best Actress this year at the Oscars.
Yeah.
And like, they have just broken through kind of like that stigma. And I think if you don't believe already that Robert Pattinson's a great actor, you will after this movie. I guarantee it. And I'm not like thrilled about the fact that it's almost 3 hours long, but I kind of feel like there's going to be points where I'm sitting there and I'm like, we probably could have cut this part out, maybe this part out, like that kind of thing. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I feel like that could be it. But my excitement level is through the roof. I bought my tickets. I made sure that I didn't buy them for the Times Square Theater like I did
Nice.
for Spider-Man.
Yes.
So Lincoln Center, I will be there. So that's Saturday night. I want to so I'm ready. I'm ready.
Beautiful. That 3-hour runtime for this new one is definitely like a talking point.
Mm-hmm.
And we got multiple villains, though, to introduce here. So whether it be Penguin, whether it be Catwoman, or Riddler, like, that's a lot of screen time you got to dedicate to each of those people.
And Carmine Falcone's in it, too.
And come on
John
now.
Turturro.
I love me some John Turturro.
Come on.
I'm a sucker for Johnny T. The Nirvana soundtrack was a really, really big selling point for me when we first saw that trailer 2 years ago. Completely shifted the vibe, right? Like, what Nirvana is dark, and this is a movie or a song that is even darker. It's like literally about like some really, really intense, heavy shit. Mm-hmm. So to hear Underneath the Bridge, like, Something in the Way is just, oh my God, I'm getting buzzed. I've posted the clip of him saying I'm vengeance on my fucking Instagram story every week for the last 2 years. Okay. I am ready for this movie. Super excited. I'm a huge Matt Reeves fan. I love the Planet of the Apes trilogy. That's enough to sell me that this is going to be great. And, he walked away from the project. Let's not forget that, right? He was signed on. He provided his idea of what he wanted. Warner Brothers said, no, let's do this instead. He said, all right, I'm done. I'm not doing this. And they said, okay, wait, come back. You can do what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's big to me.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what, Bo?
Really big.
A lot of faith.
I'm still kind of depressed over the fact that we had the perfect Deathstroke casted already, and we almost got a Batman versus Deathstroke movie. But I mean, I'll take this over anything at this point. So
I was gonna mention it in my favorite fight scene is Batman versus Deathstroke in the Arkham,
Arkham
Origins.
Origins?
Video game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
perfection.
It's so good. It's so much fun to play at. It's so hard. Like the first time, I remember I got killed like 30 times. The
It's
first
like the first like 45 minutes of the game too. Like I just got here.
It's like,
Game, let me
can't
live.
do this. It's not like you're just repeatedly punching him. It's like
He adapts.
all right. This is too much right now.
And then after you beat him, you get the electrocutioner, like a D-level villain. Like, oh, thanks, game.
Yeah,
That could've been the first one.
Thanks, guys.
Team, amazing work. Super, super fun as always. I could do this for hours and hours and hours. I could do this for multiple movies, but this one I'm particularly excited about. I'm excited to share this with everyone. Elton, Elizabeth, Connor, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate
Yes.
y'all. We're all
Thank
very,
you,
very
bro.
busy.
It's a blast.
No, this is
Can't wait for
super,
the
super fun.
Morbius 2-hour roundtable.
Let's go.
Yes, yes.
Favorite Morbius moment.
Screw Batman. That's what I'm waiting for.
I have this rule where it's like, yo, Tyrese Gibson's in a movie. I'm going opening night. You know what I mean?
Let's go.
No.
No, which funny that they did release a poster this week for the movie. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, this was supposed to come out 8 years ago.
Jeez.
Like,
By the
goddamn.
way, the fact that that movie like has like a solid crew of actors in it too, like
Right.
kind of makes me a little sad. Like it's got Jared Harris, it's got Matt Smith, like Jared Leto for all his like bizarreness and
Yeah.
weird personality, like is a pretty good actor. Like it makes me a little upset because
Yeah.
I feel like it's not going to go anywhere. So
I'm looking at my calendar. We'll get something in the books for more of these guys. How about that? Guys, great work. Thank you so much. Super, super fun. Peace out, everyone. March 4th. We'll see y'all soon. The Batman. The Batman.